Here we are in Kimberley, British Columbia. Where due west you can tell where the sun sets on the Purcells, and to the east it rises on the Rockies. But with an architectural style that is straight out of the Alps. This town once embraced a Bavarian theme that might have you asking yourself, was ist das? It's a little bit backcountry, a little bit rock and rolling hills. Kimberley was long known for its heavy metal. The Sullivan mine, in its prime, was for a time the largest lead and zinc mine in the world. But with the loss of that industry, people are no longer blasting inside the mountain. People are blasting up and down it on skis and snowboards and sleds. Outdoor recreation is what attracts people to Kimberley now. You might have said Auf Wiedersehen to the German theme, but it's hard to be a sauerkraut when you're having such a guten time.
When you grow up in a small town in Newfoundland, you see the people have a sense of humor about hard times. I turned that into a career and hit the road. Now I'm on a mission to find the funny in the places you least expect it. Canada's struggling small towns. Towns that are against the ropes, but hanging in there. Still laughing in the face of adversity.
This is Kimberley, British Columbia. The Bavarian theme, I'm told, came into being when people were beginning to ponder the finite future of lead mining. And from the architecture of the buildings to the palazzo, Kimberley really went for this Bavarian theme, despite, as I understand, not having a particularly Bavarian population. So it's all a little bit strange. Like, even you guys have Happy Hands, the town's yodeling mascot, who lives inside the world's largest freestanding cuckoo clock. You put in a loony and Happy Hands comes out and he starts singing. And he goes for a while, too. Like, Yodelay, whose idea was that? I met up with a second-generation miner. His father had to go downhill to work both ways and never complained. Dale McBain.
My dad was a miner, and he was a tough guy. He was a hard worker. And I just wanted to be like my dad.
Dale very much admired his dad and his dad's generation of hard rock miners. In a way, you might say he looked up to people who were below him. He said it's a hard job in an environment that a lot of people simply can't deal with. The noise, the nonstop metal hammering against rock, dotted by the frequent detonations of live explosives.
My father, I remember him saying to me, "Son, you're not much of a miner." And I went, "Well, like, what are you talking about?" He says, "Well, you can still hear." He says, "In my day, we're all deaf." And he says, "It was awesome." He says, "I got free hearing aids."
His dad thought it was great the day, and partly because the company paid for it, but the day he got hearing aids. He thought that was great. No one has ever been as proud of their ears up until I got small hoops in both of mine during my Matchbox 20 phase. He told me another dangerous job is barring.
When you went into a place, you made sure you took this big metal bar that had a point on one end and a pry on the other end. So what you did, you went in and you hit the back or the sides, and if it sounded hollow, you knew it was loose.
But then it occurred to me, if you're trying to hear a hollow sound, or any kind of sound really, don't you need your hearing? That'd be a bit disconcerting if you're in there with another guy and he's like, "Oh yeah, whack, whack, whack. Sounds good to me. Did I tell you they're getting me hearing aids?"
If somebody got hurt underground, you didn't abandon them. You did everything you could to save that person's life or get them out of danger. It was a brotherhood, it really was.
That can only be built on experiences when you face danger together. Then you get that sort of camaraderie.
The motto of a miner was, hey, you work hard, you drink hard, you play hard.
Now, I thought it was interesting that drink got its own section. I'd say I'd put drink under play, but he actually put it before play. For the miners, I guess drinking means business. In 2001, after 9 million tons of lead was taken from the Sullivan mine, Kimberley's 100-year run as a mining town came to an end.
I didn't want it to ever end. This mine served us for over 100 years and created jobs, raised families, did all this stuff for the town of Kimberley.
He said the day it closed, these rough and tumble miners, he said it was emotional even for them. It's a hard scene to imagine, a hard rock miner packing up the truck, packing up his family to leave, taking one last look out over Kimberley, taking one last glance out over the mine that provided for families, and then off somewhere in the distance, yodelay-hoo, yodelay-hoo. Early in the 2000s, Kimberley lost that economic cornerstone, the Sullivan mine. People here in town were nervous, but I found out around here being on edge can have its advantages, particularly when you're snowmobiling in the mountains. I got some instruction from the owner of Canada Backcountry Services, Alex Ibbotson. Alex is not the first guide in her family. Her ancestors were Métis guides who worked on horseback just further north in the Rockies.
In 1863, they guided from Fort Pitt to Victoria.
She told me a harrowing tale. One time they got stuck in a storm.
My ancestor, Catherine, had to salt one of the horses to keep them alive.
And I was trying to figure out how salt would keep a horse from dying in the cold, like a salt lick.
That's a way to preserve meat so that it doesn't spoil.
I thought you meant save the horse. It was like...
They had to end up eating the horse.
Anyway, I got that very wrong, but... BC mountain sledding is very different from the flat, hard-packed trail sledding that you see out east. She said the trick to riding in deep, soft powder is getting your sled on edge. So with this kind of sledding, you don't have your track flat on the snow. You go on the edge of it from side to side, almost like skiing. So how do you get yourself on edge?
There's the mechanics with your throttle and brake. So if I want my skis up, throttle. If I want my skis down, brake. So if we're getting on edge, you do a little bit of throttle, brake.
You have to counter steer. So you'll steer to the right in order to throw all the weight on the left, then try to tip it up. You see this kind of thing in a lot of motorsport. You guys call it riding on edge. I would have called it snow drifting. I would have called it Fast and Furious Kootenai Drift. While mountain sledding sounds very cool, she's also an expert on something I never want to get into, avalanches.
Avalanches are definitely the point of concern since we've had so much variable weather.
Alex said a big part of it is you got to learn how to read the snow because you're looking for, much like online dating, you're looking for signs of instability.
There are 3 pieces of essential backcountry avalanche equipment.
One is a mini shovel to help dig somebody out. The other one is a transceiver, and then also a probe.
The transceiver gets us near our friend underneath the snow, and then we probe into the snow, and when we have a positive probe strike, where it hits something, then we know we've found our friend.
I said, Alex, I don't want a probe. She made me take one anyway. We were about to go for a rip, and Alex said I had to put on my avalanche vest.
Don't forget your crotch strap.
What?
This little guy, like a life jacket?
You gotta make sure you got your crotch strap on. I mean your crotch strap on, not your crotch strap on. Crotch strap on, there's a strap that goes around your crotch. You'll understand when you see it, you'll understand. And then we test out the vest. Can we see it in action?
Sure.
I'm dying to have one of these for my motorcycle because sometimes when I'm back in Newfoundland, I'll go for a little ride around my hometown and I'll take my mom on the back with me. That'd be hilarious. You know what I mean? Like, just fly along. I go back in 15 minutes and be like, what happened? So we fired up the sleds then, and she showed me how to get on edge. And when she did it, it looked effortless. She was up on the side, one ski way up in the air, and she does this perfect circle turn, ends up exactly right back where her sled was at the beginning. Then I gave it a go. I did manage to kind of get it up on edge a little bit, not so much that I was controlling my turn or direction, but I hope that shot makes it into the show because whenever I do that in a rental car, it never makes the final cut. In a town with so much fun outdoor stuff, how can it be that so many people are getting boards? Well, you can blame the founder of Burley Skate, Jody Wilcox. I never met anybody who worked so hard to skate through life. When Jody started skating, you couldn't even get a skateboard here in Kimberley.
There was always skateboarding here, but as a young kid, to get a professional board, something like this, we had to go to Calgary or Spokane, which is quite a trek for a kid.
So he came up with a plan. At age 13, he brought a business plan by himself down to the bank.
The bank manager, she heard me out and actually lent me $1,000 to get my first line of skateboard goods.
He secured himself a $1,000 loan to start his business.
Yeah, I think they credit me for the youngest person to ever get a business loan from the credit union.
For a young skater kid, that's entrepreneurially. And nowadays, Jody's not just selling boards, he's got his own factory. And he's become known around the world as a skateboard innovator. He came up with Holotech.
You can kind of see through the sun.
Yes.
You see right through it.
Yeah. He's able to put air pockets in the skateboard deck, and at a cost of only 5% strength, he's made the deck 30% lighter.
The kids will do their kick flips. Naturally, a lighter board is going to do all the aerial maneuvers better.
You can imagine trying to do a kickflip if your board is 30% lighter. It's going to perform well. And I can understand that, and I don't skateboard. I can relate to that, I think, like to perform well but be kind of hollow inside.
The process is unique to us, and we kind of keep it a secret.
Many other people have tried to replicate this, but they haven't had success because the machines that he uses to make the boards, he made those machines.
To develop a new product, you need new machinery. So all our machinery is custom built just for these hollow boards.
With parts that he sourced randomly, he built these like computer precision routing machines that cut the layers of the skateboard deck. He's a skateboarder and a mad scientist all in one. He's like Marty McFly and Doc Brown all put together.
If you ever see a see-through board in the world, it most definitely came from this building, for sure.
The coolest part of the story,
This was the bank.
this was the bank. Burley Skate has done so well, Jody bought the bank. When his business was expanding, he was looking for a place to move into to manufacture.
I, of course, wanted to do it here, but Kimberley isn't the most logical place to have a skateboard factory. We have to ship materials in, we have to ship the product out, but this is my hometown. I was stubborn, said that the only way we're doing this is if it's gonna be in my hometown.
And he bought the building that the bank was in when he walked in at the age of 13 and got his first business loan. He bought that building. But could you imagine how that interview for his loan could have went? You couldn't possibly have known back then, but I think the bank manager being like, all right, that's a pretty good business plan, kid, but where do you see yourself in 10 years? Well, here. What, here in Kimberley? No, here, you'll be gone. I'll own the place. And Jody, he doesn't just send skateboards out, he brings skateboarders in. Thanks to Jody, Kimberley is the home of the longest running downhill skateboard race on earth, the Sullivan Challenge. And the hill they race down, I went and had a look at that hill. It's not in great shape. I said, do you not fix the road? He said, Johnny, we don't even sweep the road.
We race the road as it lies. Yeah, it doesn't matter what's on it. If there's cars in the way, they're in the way. That's how it goes.
They put a few hay bales out there in the corners, and that's it. But that being said, he said, in 23 years, we've never had an ambulance call. It's wild. They've never had to call an ambulance because the only rule that he stipulates is that you got to wear a helmet.
I don't want anyone to have facial reconstruction surgery.
Most people wear all the protective gear.
But there are racers that will race just in their shorts.
But if you want to go do it in a helmet and shorts, it's no skin off his ass. No ambulance calls. It's impressive, even though almost every participant is totally sick. Johnny, nice to meet you. Just when I thought this town couldn't get any more fun, I found out that Kimberley can have a good time even when everything goes to shed. I went over to the shed for Sheddy Bingo. I played with two cards, Nicole LeClaire and Sarah O'Hearn.
To Sheddy Bingo, ladies and germs.
Sheddy Bingo is also a fundraiser for the Kimberley School lunch program.
When kids come to school hungry, it's not really something that they want anybody to know about, so the teachers were just kind of taking care of things. And we had Sheddy Bingo kind of going. We're like, well, imagine what they can do with all of this money coming their way, and it's been so positive. And
they've raised over $40,000. It's a great cause and a great reason to drink on a Sunday night. If I got a drink on a Sunday so that a child can eat on Monday, I'll do it. I'll do it. They warned me, even though Sheddy Bingo is for the kids, it is not for kids.
Bingo! Bring your card up here, we'll double check it.
There's rules, there's corporal punishment involved. If you call bingo prematurely...
Did you not hear that we were going for an X?
Then you might face the violator, which is a wooden paddle, and they will smack you on the arse. Actually, they don't do it anymore. You gotta pick one of your friends to do it, which is way worse. It's a bit like a mob hit, right? You're not only gonna get whacked, it's one of your best friends who's gonna do it.
The next number we have is 060. Grandma's feeling frisky. Marcella, why don't you have another beverage over there?
Sarah is calling the bingo, and she's telling all these jokes throughout the whole game. I don't think I can repeat any of them right here. None of them are fit to put on television. They're all a bit blue, let's say. One I might be able to get on air, like B8 was preceded by Master.
Can I get a Master B8? Master B8.
Everybody in the bar starts chanting that. And for some reason, they all start doing this. I mean, I don't know how these people masturbate. That's not how I was taught. The town of Lead around 01 was told that lead was done. The end of lead led the town into a rut. but you kick-flipped out, and Kimberley has no doubt the only bingo where someone shouts, "Oh my butt." Blast down the mountain on a snowboard or skis or a sled that goes faster than all get out. Get on the hill, get on the trails. They even made some from the rails. Life is short, seize the moment, get the lead out. Where the bingo has strange lingo and the sleds are all on edge, where the skating exceeds even the speed of hockey, Kimberley watches the sunset on the Purcells to the west, and in the east she sees it rise upon the Rockies. Thanks for coming out, everybody. You've been wonderful. Thanks so much.
It was a great show. It was an honor to be a part of such a thing like this.
Kimberley, I adore with G54.
Nice, you're killing it. I will be stealing some of Johnny's puns for Shetty Bingo, that is for sure.
I thought he did a great job. I think he's a cool guy.